Okay, thank you. Welcome. Welcome everyone to the Divine Relationships. Welcome Peter, Henry, Sarah Kay, Sarah Jean, and Lucy, Michael, and here's Tim and August Rose. Amy's here. Thank you. Welcome, Amy.
Hey there.
Ooh, pretty loud.
Take a moment. So, welcome, Tim. Let's just take a deep breath in. We're going to let it go. Father, we come to you this evening and we surrender this space to you. Thank you for your presence here, and we thank you for speaking through us for what needs to be said and giving us ears to hear what you want us to hear. Thank you for your love and your arms of vulnerability and safety that we can rest in and that we can share vulnerably whatever's on our hearts. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So we put in the chat that today is going to be juicy and vulnerable. So yeah, I've been on a little bit of a journey this week, and we had a conversation this morning, and I just want to open up the container and just really give everyone permission to share like whatever they're present to, whatever you're going through, like to share it. It's interesting because Sarah and I woke up this morning and we were sharing about something that she had shared earlier in the Bible study this week while I was not there. And it brought up some things in me like, and it was specifically the things that she shared. Actually, can you just share what you shared and then I'll just share the conversation this morning?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I had shared vulnerably at the Bible study around our sex life. Specifically that I wasn't able to express myself and having to put this on the altar and having preferences around it, and my ego would have created a story like this is a qualification of being with me, to be able to express intimately, physically with your partner. And my soul said, no, that is not a qualification. That actually has nothing to do with that, and there's faith with God in that. But I didn't have that until I started having the inquiry of this happening, and so I feel like that's really been the gold, is that I'm able to have an inquiry. In the past, it would have been like, this is an F no, and I'm out. And there is no out in our divine union. Like, there is no out for me. And I shared in the Bible study, and it had brought up some things inside of Dennis. So do you want to share that?
Yeah, so I've been dealing with Um, so after she shared, it brought up some things of like, why is she sharing? Like, I felt like there was like this hidden motive, or not a hidden motive, but I felt like there might be a motive of why she shared other than just being vulnerable. Or my ego. My ego made up a story that she was sharing more than just being vulnerable. Like there was an actual intention behind sharing. And I mean, we had a beautiful conversation this morning, and there wasn't. Like, there's no ulterior motives on why she shared. And the thing that it brought up for me is, Rob, it sounds like my mic has a little bit of an echo. Let's try it. That's better, I think. Thank you. So, yeah, it brought up like insecurities because like I want to please Sarah, when we're making love. And it it brought up like feelings of this morning it brought up like feelings of unworthiness still, like that I'm not worthy to please her in that way, in that setting. Um and I really want to, like that's what my soul wants. And I'm dealing with this thing where when we're making love, like we made love this morning, and it was, I think the last time was Saturday, and I have this building up of energy, and like within the first 5 seconds, like I'm done. Like fuck, you know. So we prayed, and we have something. I don't know, like I'm just sharing like where the space of what I'm dealing with currently, and the things that it's bringing up within me. So, you want to add something to what I shared?
Yeah, presently I'm feeling a lot of feelings right now about how grateful I am for you to be so vulnerable and have the courage to be able to speak this because he didn't want to. And I just want to acknowledge you for doing that. Um, I became very present yesterday at the table, especially with what was happening with the eternal fruit between you two. And I received that. Like to be unmovable and unshakable. And I previously had told him, like, I trust you. And today I got to look at him and say, I don't trust you, and I don't think I'm ever gonna fucking trust you. And I love that. And I get to say I love that and really mean that. Oh, that's really good. Because I put all my faith and my trust in God and what he's doing so we can be healed through each other. And right now what you're seeing is a healing happening between the two of us. That even there's nothing compared to what God can do inside of someone's relationship when it's not about that. And we went through a breakthrough today, and the thing that came out on the other side is that he pleases God. He's not here to please me. When he pleases God, he already automatically pleases me. And my ego definitely doesn't like that, but my soul really, really loves that. And I'm in it forever. I've made that commitment. I stand by my word. I'm not ever leaving you behind. Ever. No matter what. And I really feel that in my soul, and I feel that with my brothers and sisters here. Like, I'm not ever leaving you. Ever. Because I know what that feels like. I don't ever want to do that again to my loved ones. I pray that you find something so worth it to you that you'll never leave someone's side. And it's worth it. It's the most intimate space. It's the closest that you can ever be with another human being. And I got to see something even deeper, is that we can share vulnerably like this, our soft spots, our weaknesses with each other, and not use it to hurt each other. To uplift and empower us to seek God. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, that's what I had to share. I'm complete.
Thank you. Is anything coming up for anyone? Questions or comments? Or Mike? We got people that are
I was just deeply moved by the heartfelt message that was delivered. And I came in late, so I don't want to say anything else, but
Thank you, Bradley.
I'm going to share what's coming up for me because your answer to that was really beautiful, by the way. He's like, okay, but, you know, I ejaculated in 5 seconds. I really want to please you. And, you know, I feel bad that I don't please you enough. And you're like, you know, no matter what you do, I'm pleased because, you know, you please God and I please God. So that was beautiful. I had a whole journey in regards to that. And I was like 17, I would just immediately like come in 10 seconds, you know. And I had a huge trauma around it because it's like, you know, all the you know, seduction and then all the foreplay and everything. And then when we get into the like lovemaking, I would just like be done immediately. So then I got this book, you know, Multi-Orgasmic Man, how to, it's just like a Chinese book where they actually teach you how to retain the semen and be able to like have multiple orgasms and just keep going. And so I had been practicing that, but also at the same time I was realizing that then it flipped. So at the beginning, you know, my partners were telling me, hey, you know, what's that? All this preparation and we're done in 5 seconds. And then it flipped into, but what's up with you, Peter, that you don't ever come, you know, you don't ever ejaculate because it's like, I want to make you happy. And I'm like, well, I already had like 5 orgasms, you know, you're good. You don't need to actually make me come. But so, and then the third phase came, which is what you're talking about. It does not matter whether it lasts 5 seconds or 2 hours. It's like, there was this thing in me that I need to achieve something in lovemaking, that I need to achieve the moment when the woman comes to an orgasm and then ideally multiple orgasm, and that's when she will be pleased. But no, it's not about it. Maybe it is, I don't know. But your answer was really beautiful. Like, it's not about it. You know, if you love Jesus and Jesus loves you and I love Jesus and Jesus loves me, we are both already pleased. Right? So that's what came up here.
Thank you, Peter.
Amen.
Thank you for your vulnerability in that. And fun and play. I loved it. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It's very interesting how we're all speaking about that, because I did have a conversation with King Michael about where he does semen retention, and I had a preference that I spoke to him this morning in the past, where I'm aware of, you know, it is a lot of the programming that the male is expected to ejaculate, but that does deplete the life force. And King Michael has said a previous partner, they didn't like that, but I'm open to it because, one, I'm really afraid of getting pregnant at this time period, but I had the preference of, just like there was a preference of going really deep, and it's because Queen Marcy had talked about when King Paul didn't go deep with his wife, they were just on a very shallow relationship. And when you're going deep, like physically, emotionally, mentally, there's a greater connection. But I also respected that his energy, he knows his soul enough that it's not his time to be focusing on things like that. And so I respected that, and I said, okay, I'm not gonna have that preference around that, and respect, okay, that's, if this is where you know in your soul or your energy it's not there, then I'm not gonna push that, and just I'm aware that it's probably wise for us to not play into that realm where it was like that for many times before. I would jump into the whole sexual aspect because of, I wanted to make sure the person I'm with, and I'm going to be with them for the rest of my life, that we are anatomically compatible. I don't want it to be a painful experience, and I don't want them to be afraid of hurting me. So that's the reason why initially I would go into having the talk with someone and go jump into the whole sexual aspect, because I was still thinking very future oriented. I wasn't just sleeping around just for my physical needs. I really was looking for a partner I would like to be with for the rest of my life. But yeah, it's very interesting how on both ends there's that pressure from the females and the males to have a certain way of interacting with each other. And how I see is like, sex is very dead energy, but making love it's a very, the way it's defined is just a very true partnership or union, versus sex is that pornography, all of that stuff that doesn't really respect two people coming together as one. So that's what came up for me, and thank you for the vulnerability of bringing that up. And it's interesting how we're all kind of in those spaces too.
Thank you, Lucy.
Can I ask you a question, Lucy? What's the fear around becoming pregnant?
Part of it's the finances, and also I was looking at, you know, am I gonna have the nutrients I need to take care of another human being that's growing inside of me, as well as the when I'm breastfeeding, and I obviously don't want to be dealing with hospital stuff. I want that whole natural birth, but it's just the whole thing to where I thought I can simplify my life and not think about having kids and just have a husband and enjoy our life and be a mother figure for other children around, but not having my own. I didn't feel like I had that motherly nurturing energy, but I felt like for a long time, I felt like I was a burden. So how in the world can I not only take care of myself and a family, but also another human being. And of course, I do see that it takes a village to raise a child, and I see it's very possible here with Little King Soul free range toddler, and it's inspiring, but it's just also the preparation and the whole birthing process. I'm right now I'm also eating certain foods and avoiding other things to get my body to heal even more, and I'm thinking, what am I going to eat when I'm pregnant? What And so it's a lot of these worry, and I have to trust that God gave me this download of being open to having kids when I'm ready and not blocking it off like I used to because of the old programming and fears. But it is a lot of that to where I have to learn to let go and just trust when God brings that blessing into my life that he will take care of us, and it's not just me and being stressed out about it, because that's not going to help. So thank you for that question.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I want to echo the gratitude for the vulnerability and the heart that's just like wide open. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Yeah, thank you.
You're
Welcome.
welcome.
Welcome, Annette. So tonight, like it's a very open, very feminine space tonight, and
What are you afraid to tell your partner?
and if you're not in a relationship, what are you afraid to tell the community?
Let's go. And thanks for playing, Sarah.
Wow, my immediate thought was F off.
You never know, that might come up later.
So, I first of all, I wanted to share earlier, and then I was like, I got nothing to say to this conversation. Like, I not in partnership, haven't been in partnership for a very long, haven't engaged in partnership style activities in a very long time, and last time I did, it was not anywhere near divine union. In fact, the last several times, it was not divine union, and even even when I thought it was sacred, it was special. But I said to Dennis when he hopped in the pool just shortly before this, I was like, man, like literally just you two like move around the community like glowing. There's like a grounded joy about you guys. And I mean, you have like moments or days where it's like not at the intensity that it just rocks me, but like literally just your being is of service. So that was what was present to me coming into this. And then to have you share what you shared, and it's like so vulnerable. And I know I've acknowledged you, at least Sarah. I don't know if I've said this to Dennis. Maybe I've said it to both of you, but like just, and you got acknowledged for it here today. Like your service of like sharing your journey is just it makes it more approachable for those of us that are terrified of doing the kind of damage to ourselves and to others that we've done in the past. And the thing that I was present to say that I was like, does not really a contribution is which is why I didn't say anything till you were like, "What are you afraid to tell people?" And I was like, "Well, no one else sharing. Let me just jump in." It was, yeah, it was like I don't feel qualified to be here in this conversation right now. Like I don't have a partner. I'm not in divine union, so all of a sudden I feel like the fifth wheel, and like I'm like voyeuring because I just don't have anything to contribute. I feel very far away from this conversation right now. Not like I haven't needed it my entire life, but
May I offer something?
I would love that.
So, divine relationship is not just with a partner, it's your relationship that you have with God, first and foremost, because He's your King. The relationship that you have in connection to other people, this is all a relationship. Right now, we're in a body of a relationship. Welcome, Gabby. Welcome, Shani. So it's the relationship that you have to self, to God, and community, and in partnership. So it just depends on what you want to use the space for. And you're not alone.
Thanks for framing that out for me.
And thank you for sharing.
So I'm noticing that I'm wondering what I'm really good at hiding right now. Because I'm starting to really get that reflection. I was really given a big gift by you, Michael, yesterday. Like, you've been giving it for a long time, but I was able to get it yesterday. Like, oh, actually, if I'm seeing it, I'm being it. Where am I hiding? And I actually have been seeing different elements of myself that I've been hiding that are starting to come up inside. Specifically, I see them coming up inside of my union, and not that, like, they're starting to come up, they've been there the whole time. I'm just starting to see them. And I'm really honored with the way that you two opened the circle tonight, because something that I can see I've been doing often, like very, very frequently, is noticing dysfunction and having this, oh, I already dealt with that. I've seen that for a long time. So it's like either the length of time I've been aware of it, or just the fact that I'm aware of it. It's done. It's done with, and I just sweep under the rug and act like it's just done. And like, sexual dysfunction is one of those things that I feel like I used to just beat that horse over and over. Like, I've been there, I've done that, I've talked about it, I've taught about it. I've like, we're done, right? We're done. But I don't love it yet. I don't know how to love it yet. And I can see that slowly I'm learning how to stop, like, dragging my past into my present and painting my future with it. It's tapering, but there's still some serious residue and remnants of that, and it leaves me feeling like a heavy weight to be carried around. And I don't just put that on Tim. I conveniently, my dad's sitting next to Tim. I feel like I bring that into our work. Anywhere I am long enough, I'm going to be heavy and dysfunctional, and it's going to fuck everything up. Whenever there's something wrong, there's that part in the back of my head that's saying, how am I doing this? And it's not coming from an empowered or loving place. It's coming from a like deceitful, like, yeah, hellish place. I didn't want to say any of that.
Saying it. Hello. So to continue the trend of I don't want to say this. Thank you. Thank you. I can't help but go to this place when I think about what other people think when I share, or the fact that I'm separated now from my ex. The first thing that comes up that I experience in me is like people wondering, well, why not? What happened? And the first thing that comes up is that I wasn't pleasing enough. And so he had to leave me for other women to be pleased more. And that my ego feels really embarrassed and sad about that. But the thing is, like, I wasn't sleeping with him a lot. Like, and I was still healing. I was still hurt. I was still triggered, like when someone cheats on you, it's hard to like go back to the way it was before. And the thing is, like, in the beginning, it was like I did everything, the whole beck and call. I'm here, I'm pleasing, all the things, and it still wasn't it. And like I've heard feedback from other men that tell me like, yeah, men need this and that, and it just feels like shit. I'm just like, well, I don't know what else to do. Like and it's painful because I don't know about you girls, but like when you're sleeping with someone, it's like I entered this world of like, I don't know, every other guy disappears, nobody else exists, it's just that guy. And we go through hell because we have this, but then it's like I'm experiencing, it's different for men. It's not the same world that you enter. And it's like you can just, and I really want to know like male's perspective about it, and just, I wanted to speak to the embarrassment that I feel when that's what I think other people think about me. So thank you guys for opening it up. And this is the conversation I didn't know how to have when he was here. The sex talk. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, all of it. But fuck that. So, and I too was very scared of being pregnant. I used to be on birth control, way different experience, carefree, careless, whatever. And now it's like, if you're coming in 5 seconds, I'm terrified you're gonna get me pregnant and it's not worth it, and I'm freaking out. So I was also egoic. So I didn't have this beautiful soul shit. So thank you. It's fleshly as fuck, man. So soul shit, I'm on board.
You moved me with your share. And thank you for being vulnerable, like for sharing your heart. I can feel it. And may I offer something? I don't think it's either one. You were pleasing God. That's why you weren't pleasing him. Love you, sister. We're not here, yeah, we're not here to please each other. By the way, I just want to give you guys that, your egos. We're not here to please that. We're here to please God. And you already are pleased, and you already will please everyone else around you when you please God. And your ego is not going to like it. But would you rather be liked or would you rather be loved? Because in the moments when it really matters and you needed someone to tell you the truth, you're not going to like it in that moment. You're not going to like that person. You're probably going to be really pissed off at this person. But that person is your soul friend. Because it doesn't matter about what you might do to their body, how you might shun them, you might even leave, but your soul matters to them to tell you the truth in that moment to set you free. And you might get it later on in life. So please God. And then you start pleasing other people. The real pleasing of people. And it's not physical. It's real intimacy that you feel with people. You feel it in this room right now, right here, right now. Just want to bring that in. And I also heard something in your share, August Rose. Do you mind if I had a huge breakthrough this week around when you are becoming aware of something, you automatically go to shame, guilt, remorse, like all those things. And those are good things, by the way, to feel those fully, but not to stay in it, not to drag out to cause suffering. And we make ourselves wrong. No, you are aware and you have an opportunity to be able to go and make a change about this now. There's a huge difference in that when it's like, oh my gosh, I found the gold. I can do something different now. There's like so much joy that's present, and joy is not happiness. Happiness is based on something that's happening, and it's based off your preferences that are meeting all of your conditions. Fuck happiness. Joy is present at a funeral. Joy is present when you are getting very uncomfortable news. Seek joy above all else. So I just want to, it's not wrong. Be joyful and rejoice in the moment that you just were corrected and you're able to make a change and become aware of something. It's awareness just right in your face, and I'm aware now. And now I can give this to my brothers and sisters. And it's an unfolding of that. Thank you. Go ahead.
So there's this theme happening around here in this conversation about pleasing others. And yeah, Bianca, I don't know who your male friend was that said that men need this or whatever. From his perspective, maybe like this is his truth, but it's not the truth for all men. Just want to let you know that others don't necessarily see the same way or speak the same things. And yeah, sharing vulnerably my own experience with premature ejaculation. It's premature because it's faster than you want it to be, but it's like it's natural. Like there's nothing wrong with it. And at the same time, from my experience, what really drove that was the desire and the excitement to please my partner, right? The more I wanted to please my partner, the faster I'd come. So in my own journey, it was really about just relaxing and just being so grateful and present in the moment that there's intimacy happening, right? Not that like the performance is this or that, but like really just dropping into your presence so that she can feel your heart. And from there, like all sorts of magic happens, and she can help move the energy. She can actually feel you in a way that like can help you stay longer, right? And yeah, it's more of a dance and a play than a performance. And from that space, doesn't matter. Yeah, doesn't matter if you go like hours or minutes or seconds or whatever. That's the intimacy that's pleasing God. That's what I have to share.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I also want to bring in or at all. Like, you don't really even need that when you're pleasing God. Just want to bring that in. I have a question for the gentleman here. And what actually does please you? Because that was a question that Bianca sparked, and then that's that. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's bring in that question. What does please you?
Oh, hello. Okay. So thanks a lot, Tim, for bringing that up, like from men's perspective. And I think in my experience in life, I would say it's the opposite. Like I'd say most men are more in than women could ever hope to be. And one of the things that pleases a man the most, from my perspective, is knowing that he has a woman who is all in. That's done away with other options and is fully focused on the man that she's with. But I mean, in this society that we live in, I see that men are able to go all in observable reality, and women are always have options. That's like a primal thing almost. But they're always for reproduction, for safety, or war comes in, God forbid, geez, women are in hell of a trouble in that time if something like that's to happen. But that's what I would say. I would say one of the most important things for men is knowing full and well that the woman's all in.
Yeah. All in. I keep hearing 99% monogamous. You don't want a partner that's 99% monogamous, You want them 100%, all in. That's pretty good.
So, go ahead,
ahead,
Peter. I'm going to share, and then you can go after me. For me, it is to be able to serve, like when I'm here and I'm able to like be in the garden and support and what that feels like is that I am supported. Like when I'm supporting, I feel supported. And it's like the giving and the receiving. It's equally like the more that I receive, the more that I give, and the more that I give, the more I receive. Like it's just like wow. Like how does it get even better than this? And so for me, Bianca, like the question was, what
pleases you?
what pleases me?
Yeah.
Yeah, like and like when I'm feel like I'm pleasing God, and I feel like I'm pleasing God by doing what I'm doing, like, and being who I'm being. Like, I feel like I'm walking the walk that He's um, set my feet on. Like this conversation opened up with me speaking about things that I feel like sexually dysfunction around. And just by me sharing that, like, I feel like this is part of that walk of I feel so much closer to you guys now than I did before this interaction. And I know that God's working miracles in my life and in our life. And so to be vulnerable and to share like what's going on within me, like remind me of the question again, because I'm really what pleases me. Yeah, like I feel like being vulnerable is one of the greatest gifts that I can give.
It's
What pleases
what
me
pleases you?
is like having the community and the people around me that I can share vulnerably what I'm going through and to be supported in that. Like this right here. And to have Sarah Jean by my side too, where every time that I am going through something, like I can share and like there's no judgment. It's literally received with compassion, and she speaks so much life into me. Like, I know that I'm the luckiest man in the world, and that's all I have for now. I'm just open to receive.
Look how
That's
pleased
so
he
cool.
is.
I had wanted to say something else that's related, I think, to what you were saying, and thanks a lot for that,
You're
Dennis.
welcome.
But like Sarah Kay was saying the other day, I don't remember if it's yesterday or the day before, but it's about we in that the Matrix sort of world, we work on ourselves to create some space where we're authentic, where the space is to be authentic, and then boom, out into the real world, and we're all fucked up again. I just wanted to like confirm for myself, figuring all this out and talking about it there in your house, and then coming here and go, look how we did this. No, what's happening here is part of all of that. There's all this accountability and all this support, like for him, when he comes up, goes, ain't working out. Too bad, motherfucker. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is exactly what you need. And to have him sit there and you could see him just losing it inside. But by the next day, he's like, fuck, they're right. I'm just going to wait this out. Whatever it is. It's a real accountability. And John's not kidding. I'm sure Mel flames him like nobody can even imagine. And it's like, that's what it's all about. But without this kind of thing, it's like, yeah, of course, this is how it works. But I've never seen this before. It's like I always knew it existed. It had to be. And it's like just in time for me, really. Like might not have made it if I didn't find this as soon as I did. This kind of community and support and real accountability. Accountability, vulnerability, they all go together like that. But that's right? I'm not crazy. We're all crazy and shit.
We all are.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for letting me talk.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Bradley came up to me this morning for breakfast, and he goes, I feel like you're hiding something. I'm like, I mean, The only thing that I'm hiding is actually the conversation that we're having right now, so you're welcome. I had to keep it for tonight.
Oh, man. Talk about a prescription, you know?
You hit me when you said the all in thing. And I just want to put a disclaimer on this that sometimes when I share my experience, I feel like I sound like a big ass victim to it. And I have a lot of shame around that. And that's not my intention, and I'm not a victim. But I've milked that for a long time in the past. So it's hard to be vulnerable and share when I have this awareness in me. That's why I'm trying to like not let it affect me in this moment. But I have compassion now from a space of like, I was all in with this man, and you know, he had unhealed shit from the past and brought it into the relationship with me, did what he did, cheated, and then really tried to make amends. But after the fact, you know, I can only imagine what it's like for a man to really be sorry and move to coast, like do a whole thing and try to make amends, but I could just never receive it. Like so just, I'm present to that. You know, I have this perspective of like soul friends where I see the perfection in it, and I got the lesson on mature love out of it, what it really means. And love is letting go and setting free and letting others voluntarily evolve. And there's still that piece in me that's like, I couldn't receive it the same. And so I feel called to share just the impact as a woman over here on this end. As a man, if you really love your woman, just be mindful, because it hurts. And once it hurts, it kind of, it's never this, it's like there's a string and you cut it and now you have a knot. And that knot's there. So, I mean, I'm still burning the string, so that's it, your turn.
Thanks, Bianca. And welcome, Anissa. And who else is that on there?
Who's our iPhone?
Welcome, iPhone. Go ahead, Peter.
Wow. Yeah, so the question was what pleases man, what pleases me. So I don't know what pleases man, but I'm going to speak to what pleases me. And I've been finding that it's about commitment. When I have one God, one purpose, and one woman, I'm pleased. So currently I have one God, one purpose. I don't have a one woman yet. So that also brings in, you know, noticing me being in a constant exploration. Like, I'm noticing that the human in me wants like physical proximity, for example. So then at this, you know, I have this friend, Megan, who just came, and she comes and she visits, and we held hands 3 times. And I got a rebuke this morning from Sarah Jean saying, well, if you hold hands with your friend, that means it's not friendship anymore. It's so yeah, I've been noticing that there is some lack in me that I will need to work with you, Tammy, to overcome that. What pleases me is when I see that the woman is open to receive fully, because I like to give. If I give, if I provide, and if it's not received, then something gets blocked. Also, what pleases me is not sex, but lovemaking. And that has been very, very clear distinction for me throughout my entire life. When the partner wanted sex and there has not been like emotional alignment or mutual understanding and things like that, I just could not have sex. I did not want to. But when there was like love in the air and you can feel it, it's everything good, then the love making happens. So then that also brought me to another question, like, is that conditional or is that unconditional? I don't know. Do I need a specific, love feeling in my heart in order for me to make love? So, so Regina's laughing. And then
I'll tell you why in a minute.
what?
I'll tell you why later.
Oh yeah, tell me why now. So yeah, those three things, those are the ones that please me complete.
Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
Mine was, the reason why I was laughing was because I went on a 40-day help meet challenge. So it was all about receiving, and it didn't have to do around conditions or that I had to have a love in my heart or any of that. It was to receive him fully, to break free of my conditions on what that means. Yes. Okay, so I think it was the second Remember experience that I had come here, and I'd never wanted to punch John in the face until he said that women are helpmeet. And I was like, what? I am not a piece of meat. Like, no. And I didn't understand. I didn't understand what that actually meant. I thought it was like, I'm just a piece of meat. Like, I'm just supposed to do what? And it actually is, she's to her king to help meet him in his God-given purpose, in his mission that he's here on earth. So I'm here to support and uplift him and get up underneath him as a helpmeet. I did not know that. I thought it was like I'm just he could do whatever he wants with me, and he give it to him whenever the hell he wants to have it. And I'm like, no. So that was specifically the challenge because I had resistance to it. So I went through that physical challenge of being his helpmeet. Whenever he wanted to have sex with me, I said, yes, sir. And it was one of the most beautiful things that I've ever could have done for someone and myself. Because it broke free of all my resistance to that. It was actually about receiving. It wasn't about anything of the physical. It was spiritual. So not all lessons are for all people, but specifically around me and Dennis, that was one of the challenges that I went through. So it doesn't have to meet all those. That was my confusion.
It depends on, like she said, it's not all lessons are for all people. So it depends where a person is. Like if you have resistance around it, then, and even at that, like how she said that she became a receiver, like before that challenge, like we were always, it was like this push-pull that was going on. So.
The visual of the push-pull. The meat challenge.
But then that happened, and then
I mean, I didn't experience it as that, no. No.
No, I had a lot of dysfunction in my past. I literally was someone's helpmeet, and I meant M-E-A-T. I was the trophy wife. I did everything at their beck and call. Whenever they wanted that. And I treated myself very disrespectfully sexually. I had a lot of sexual dysfunction. And so I didn't want to be treated that way with him. It was like a fear. So I wanted to break free of that and go through it and receive him fully. So, yeah. crazy, but it's a gift. It's a gift.
I'm still feeling in my body like what I first shared stirred something up, but then what you shared, Bianca, most recently, like sparked something else inside of me about, I heard you say, like men just, it was almost like a forewarning, if you cheat on a woman, like she might not let it go. And it triggered me. And when I look in, like, what's there is that I am living in some like muddled story that I cheated on Tim.
Did you? Is it a muddled story or did you?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did cheat on Tim, and it was before I accepted that I was in a divine union, but God had placed me there already. So like the muddled is that I try to sneak out of it.
Oh, you try to justify it.
Right. And that came up for me really clearly this morning in Bible study. Like, I've been justifying an abortion for 5 years, saying that I did it so that that child didn't have to live a life, when really I made a child sacrifice so that I could have a better life, so that I didn't have to go through with that decision or that, being that mother. And it triggered me because I feel like, well, he shouldn't be able to let it go. He shouldn't be able to let go of any, in my mind, he shouldn't be able to let go of anything that I've done in the past. There's so much that so much dysfunction, but it wasn't just before I met you. It was also after. And it was also after we came together, and I just, it's really hard for me to receive that I'm actually forgiven. That not once have you ever held it against me for even a moment. And I've become the thing that I hated and judged the most. And yet my closest mirror is nothing but loving. And the secret question is it really let go? Is it really okay? I mean, no, it's not okay, but am I really forgiven? Does it really not affect? I don't even know how to ask the questions.
Well, is it forgiven? How is it forgiven?
Because Jesus came and forgave all sin.
What does he say after he forgives you?
What came first is Jesus said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. But I'm looking for something else.
Would you like some assistance?
Yes.
Go and sin no more. When you have that, when you're all in, like Henry said, and you're decided in you that that will never happen again, you already are forgiven. You don't need it from him. It comes from Jesus. It comes from inside of you.
Receive that. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was powerful.
Yes, thank you.
You're
That's,
with it.
let's deep dive into that actually a little bit. What is that crackling? Is that yours? Okay. What is cheating? You grabbed the microphone before that, but if you want to dive into that question as well.
One, two. Yeah. I think cheating is deceiving and breaking trust consciously and pretending you didn't. And I think there's various levels of doing it. I once full on cheated on my lover, my partner. He wanted to actually marry me and was very young. I didn't know how to get out of the relationship, so I totally sinned and cheated on him. And when he asked me, did you sleep with someone? That voice that now God, no sé, but said, don't lie, it'll be worse. So I just told him the truth. And then it was over. That part of my life was over. And I've come to understand that, really, I'm 38 now. I get to see the cyclical karmic thing of life. And recently, Sean and I had a experience where he was attracted to another woman and voiced it out to her and brought another woman into our relationship who really thought that she was going to start a whole life with him. And there was no physical touch, but it hurt like fucking hell because the betrayal felt spiritual. It felt so profound. Almost like I wish I would have preferred them to just, I wouldn't. But I wonder what hurts more, the physical or the spiritual. And I got a taste of my own medicine, I guess. And I have a hard time fully trusting that it's not that I don't believe he wouldn't do it again. I think Shawnee is a very loyal person. But I think cheating is when you close your heart and don't tell the other person. And that's what I'm terrified of. Because you can't really tell. How are you like 58% heart open, or 100%, or 1%? You need to trust that the other person has their heart open. And for many months, I didn't even know or feel that his heart was closing. And so, yeah, the cheating is when you consciously close your heart and then pretend it isn't. Yeah. For me.
Thank you.
Can I share something? Sarah and I just had this conversation. You mentioned trusting in your conversation quite a bit. And
Missed the beginning part of
And-
this segment.
yes, I don't think you guys were here, but don't ever trust a human being
Ever.
because they're always going to let you down, like no matter what.
Yeah.
And the more you trust in God, the closer, like the more that I trust in God and the more that Sarah trusts in God, like the closer that we get to each other. So,
Yeah, I know that he's gonna fail, and so am I. We're going to fuck up. That's a given. It's human nature. You get on a bike, you fall off, you fail, get back up, ride it again.
and what direction are the feet moving?
Yeah. And are they doing the same mistake twice? It's different. If it's patternistic, it's different. If someone owns their shit and tells the truth, it's different. But we're human beings, and we're going through a lot of mud, and the grace is present, and I literally looked at him the other day and said, I trust you. I haven't said that or spoken that to someone in a long time. And then right away, boom, something for me not to trust him. Lies straight to my face over something stupid. And I'm like, I know you're lying. Like, why did you lie over something that's stupid, Like, about, I think we were sitting on you were sitting on the bed, and I've got the movie playing, and it was, like, what is it called when it's doing, loading, it's loading.
Yeah.
And so he turns on music, and I'm like, why did you do that? And he goes, I don't know, because the movie's not playing right now, and I'm like, you just lied to me.
And we were completely naked at this time too, so.
Yeah. I'm like, you just lied to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, why did you lie? And he just was stuck, like, fuck, like.
Got me. There's nothing coming past
I was
her.
like, oh man, like, all right, I'm gonna say it right now, like. And then he tells me, I'm like, that's so stupid. Why couldn't you just tell me that? That's, you wanted to make love to me, and he just didn't say that because I don't know why, but but I don't know why. Why he didn't answer. He was stuck in that, and so let's explore it.
Like in that moment, there was a part of me that felt that if I asked, I wouldn't get what I asked for. So it was like trying to get what I want going into going through the back door and not being up front. So, and I can
That is
see
off limits. I'm just saying.
not that back door, not going through that back door, but just being like I can see how like that pattern, like that toxic way of trying to get what I want, like that's been a pattern of my ego, like throughout my life. So, yeah,
Thank you for sharing.
you're welcome. And what I'm committed to moving forward is asking what I want.
Right, being direct.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Like yeah, absolutely.
Because I
I'm here
didn't
to
give him
feel
what he
fully.
wanted either after that. I was like, nope.
Yeah, literally. And I was completely cool with it, like, because I knew there was something there for me to look at. So,
That was the only reason why. It wasn't to say no because I was upset or it made me feel anyway. It was literally because he was going through something at that moment and it just was not time. So back to this is no. I get to say, I cannot trust you. I can't trust you worth shit. And I love that. I got to a point where I get to say, I love that because it's not about that. I get to trust myself. I get to trust God. I get to put my faith in God. I cannot put it in Him. My walk with God alone is mine. And His with God is His. And how He wants to interact or have an experience with that is all His choice. And same with me. No. Can you trust yours?
No. But I can put an intention to keep it open as much as possible. I mean, what does an open heart mean? I guess it's about being vulnerable and about speaking the truth and owning your shit. But I find it very hard to be in a relationship where you feel like there's like a blockage. It's like a piece of ice and a piece of ice. So we're still human and we're flawed and fucked up.
What if someone's hot?
What if someone's hot?
Yeah, and someone's ice.
I mean, yeah, that's the difficult thing.
Doesn't the ice melt?
You would hope so.
I think
So
there's
it
a
only takes one person to look at God, to look towards love. It only takes one. You're trying to get the other person, it seems like, there's fire shot, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's trying to get the other person to take the full responsibility before you start taking responsibility.
For what?
For keeping your heart open when he has his closed. Can you maintain your heart being open? Can you be responsible for how you are in the relationship, regardless of whatever it is that he does? To be love. To be the person that you wish that you had in the moment that you needed the most.
Thank you. It's easy when you're around people with open hearts because you're like, boop, like it just opens, you know? It's harder when it's just one-on-one, I guess. Just stay strong. I guess that's my belief. But there's, when I call my mom, it's like, whew, open. And my twin sister, whew, open. But then just remain open even when you think that someone's closed, it's like a fucking challenge for me. For sure. Thanks, though. It's a good point.
I just want to say thank you to all the women that shared. And then I don't know who said what, but I took the gold, which is it doesn't matter what the human in front of you or the humans around you think, feel, say, do, believe. Just keep looking at God. And it's funny because the doubts that got expressed by some of the women in the room, I was like, yeah. and then I think Sarah was like, just keep looking at God. Just keep looking at God, which ironically, I've told 2 people today about other things. But in this area, I have a lack of trust in myself. And so therefore, if you can't trust yourself, you can't trust another human, it's just junk, dirty, dumb stuff. And I can do that in this area of my life too. I just didn't have that before. Like, I was the only one looking, and then like I was playing conditional integrity, and it's like
What did you say? Conditional integrity?
Conditional integrity.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
it's
one's a good one.
Like you have integrity until someone else doesn't. And like, I wasn't meeting men that had any kind of relationship with God, and then I had like this very deep, very personal relationship, and then like I was trying to make things work, and it wasn't working, obviously. And instead of just choosing and then letting God sort it all out. And I have examples in this room of women that have chosen and let God sort it out. And that's inspiring to me. And it's exactly who I want to be. And I lost sight of that inside this conversation. And you pointed at it right when I first started sharing. when you asked the question, what don't you want people to know? You pointed directly, you didn't just like hint at it. You were like, look to God. And I was like, yes, ma'am. And I couldn't fully connect into it. I could still feel like a gap between what you were saying and what like my experience was. And it wasn't until everybody shared that I was able to bridge the gap. So thank you all for your sharing. It made a huge difference for me. And I feel like I can actually step forward and just let God, like I trust God to bring the person in. I trust God to like make the decision who it is. I trust God, but then like once I'm in the relationship, I'm gonna fuck it up. Like that's always my story. So I now can trust, you know, the journey, and I'm watching it with other people, and it's instead of just trusting the journey, I like let it scare me, and so like now I can actually I have the you know the wires are firing. I can trust God to hold the relationship and let it be what it needs to be. So thank you, guys, everybody.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say with your share, Dennis, that it brought up something for me, I think, around, because I was also just sitting with like what pleases a man, and how I feel like I've gone through either painting the future with the past, as kind of like you said, August Rose, of like sometimes creating these alternate directions based off what it is that seems like the past has created, as far as like a situation that makes me feel that like the way of just being direct wouldn't work. And it's just interesting to notice how that creates like this alternate version of reality where you think that like there's some other way of doing it that's like the better way. But then then eventually you experience how much that doesn't actually give you what you want, because it causes you, I guess in the end, it's just a little teeny tiny spot for doubt to creep in. You doubt I doubt myself, and then all of a sudden, like, thank God someone can be like, "You're lying," but yeah, it's like an interesting experience to like to experience a moment that is possibly a replay of a point in the past where you play out that situation again to try and see if you get a different answer or a different situation. And I guess one thing I guess I'm learning about what pleases me, it is for myself, is to not feel like I have to like translate myself. A sense of being able to know directly, and that being, I guess, a connection with God, and I guess that gets can be then also a reflection with those around me of somehow feeling like I'm becoming more and more a clear channel. That feels really pleasing. Yeah. And that's it for now.
Thanks, Shawnee. There was still another topic that was really rich, and it was what is cheating?
Oh, okay. So this doesn't answer directly the question, but it's on the topic.
Okay.
It kind of another question about
Okay.
cheating. And so I've been sitting with, is it, possible to be back in a healthy, restored dynamic after cheating? And I see that the answer is absolutely yes. However, for me, it took, so first of all, yes to the karma, to the I see it too, and how I got a taste of my own medicine. And then thank you, August Rose, for your share about, that inside of you, like, I just want to say thank you. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because the point is, yes to mature love. Yes to the conversations, the hard conversations, the taking ownership, the walking in the same direction, all of that. So for me, it took losing the person, God blessing me, removing, to get the lesson. So I think it's absolutely possible. And for me, it just looked different. And I think it's, but mind you, when I was in it, the answer was unclear. I was like, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know how to speak to this, because I wasn't in a place where I could receive and forgive. And I never felt the, this isn't going to happen again. I always had this, we didn't have a mature, it was immature. It was immature love. It wasn't deep enough to root into this, and so now I'm so grateful, because I know what mature love is. I know what the hard conversations are. I know what it's like to keep my heart open when the other person's heart is closed. But in the time, I couldn't. Absolutely not. I was like, I can't. You need to go first. You're the man. You're the one that fucked me over. You're lucky I even took you back. All that bullshit. But yeah. But cheating is just, you got one woman. Make it known. Don't include other women. It's that simple. That's yeah, that's the lesson I got on the other end. So I'm still fleshing it out for myself too. But for example, not keeping your heart open when his is closed, that's immature. Mature love is you go first, no matter what the circumstance. Like, you're in a committed relationship, like, your eyes are on God. You're not dependent on him and what he's doing or not doing. You hold the line. He's not going to do the work. Okay, fine, I'm going to go this way. I'm not attached to you. You're a queen. You call him out. Love confronts dysfunction. Like, if he's doing something dysfunctional, you're not afraid to hurt his feelings. And you also aren't afraid to tell her, because I needed that. I needed him to tell me what the fuck I was not doing, or how, because I would have been like, oh. But immature love would have been bitchy, reacting, pissed, not receive the communication. And so I'm like, damn, I fucking get it now. And it's like, but I'm grateful at the same time. So just, I don't know if that.
Yeah,
that's
there's also a flavor, like, with what she's saying, is that there's you're doing this to me. He's not doing shit to you. He's doing it to himself. And so, that's the distinction too between mature love and immature love, is to be able to separate yourself outside of the circumstance and hold space for someone and not make it about you. It's really, yeah, it's a lot easier said than done when you're inside of it. But it's a non-negotiable if it's a child. Yeah, like, if your child jumps inside of the deep end and they're drowning, what are you going to do? Automatically, there's no thought you're going to jump into the water and take the little baby out. Why don't we do that with each other? It's literally, that's what's happening. Your baby is drowning inside. And we don't jump into the deep water to go and say, hey, okay, let me just hold you really quick. Let me just, what's going on? We don't say that.
And with that, make sure you jump in the deep end of the pool. Thank you, everyone, for attending this class, for being with us and holding this space with us, for each other.
Can we please have a little bit of time? I feel like it's still rich in the
It's
conversation.
very rich, yes.
Do you mind if we stay for a little bit longer, guys?
Um,
Okay, we got a consensus from everyone. We're going to keep it going.
You're welcome, and I'm suggesting we only go like 10 more minutes because we do have a movie after this, and so I want to allow the AV guys to time to set up for the movie.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I go again about
Sure.
the cheating thing? I feel kind of silly saying this, but isn't cheating just any form of deceit that you knowingly are conducting? Like if you're deceitful toward, like, look back a long ways, like before my baby mama, and I'm thinking, I know how deceitful I was, how many times before she actually cheated on, my girlfriend actually cheated on me. I didn't actually go fuck anybody. She did. But I see where I made that happen. And the actual penis and vagina thing, that's like the long ways out. Like the cheating happened way before then and probably
Yeah.
for a long time, right?
Yeah.
On both parties. And this is the analogy for pull people out of the pool. Is that what that is? Like that's mature. It's mature if your partner is pissing you off to the point where you're like looking at another person or having thoughts of the grass is greener. You say, hey, you're giving me the grass is greener feelings right now.
Yeah. But it ain't it.
Who's
It's
gonna
where
say
you water
that?
it, by
Like,
the
who's
way.
gonna-
Grass is not greener on the other side.
Of
It's where
course
you water
not.
it.
Of course not. But yeah. But that, right?
So
The cheating's not the sex part.
Right.
It's all everything leading up to that. And then we're going to grab a hold of that
It
one.
is.
And that's the tell end all be all up.
he goes,
You
he
and
goes,
I let
this
it
is,
get to that. And now neither of us can ever let it go.
Jesus literally says, don't commit adultery. But I even say this, is that don't even have your eye look in lust. Gouge it out.
Absolutely.
Because you've already cheated on them in your heart. And it's really about where your heart is.
That's my point.
That's
yes.
all that's like really what it is. And that's why he says, don't follow your heart, follow me. Because your heart's very deceitful. It's got so many judgments and conditions and all these things. And that's what we're here playing out. We're here to uncover them and find them by choice rather than by chance. Because by chance it's happening in your circumstances. But you're the one that's creating them because of the judgments that you have inside of your heart. And so we're revealing those. He's like, just with this, what happened in the beginning of this conversation, he's revealing the judgment that he has in his heart, and it's playing out in our circumstances at the moment, but because we're in a divine union, God's showing up, and he's healing it. It's way different when you don't have Christ. You're annihilating each other. When you don't have Christ, you annihilate each other. Like, you're wrong and I'm gonna hurt you. Like, and if you don't change this, it's manipulation tactics. It's toxic feminine and toxic masculine at war with each other rather than having a mature conversation. Like, hey, do you recognize you're doing, because it's not about me. He's not doing anything to me.
Yeah, neither one of them really has anywhere to run to. But when you have that, when you have the God thing, you both have somewhere to run to recheck ourselves.
Yeah.
And with the cheating conversation, I feel like there's also like a cheating with God. Like he wants us to stay focused on him rather than focusing on each other. So
That's so that's powerful. I'm gonna just say this real quick. I had a dream, and I had cheated, on him in my dream. And he had a dream that he cheated on me in his dream. And we had the breakthrough about we're cheating on God. So it has nothing to do with each other. It's that are we looking towards each other? We're cheating on God. And so it's the action of him trying to please me. He's not pleasing me by not pleasing God. And whenever he's trying to please me, that doesn't work.
And that's actually the thing that happened where you were sharing about my share. I actually, this thing came up in your share of I actually was looking at her rather than God in that moment. When I said that I put the song on because the movie had stopped, I was looking at her and I wasn't focusing on God in that moment.
Okay.
And that's why she called me out. She's like, hey, like you don't have your eyes on God right now.
This is a newbie question. How do you please God in sexuality?
Being in a divine union. If
So,
you're all in, there's no matter what, it's all in. Like I made a covenant with God because it's not about Shawnee. It's about Gabby and the relationship with God. And it's about Shawnee and the relationship with God. And you guys are working out all of the things that have happened for millennia, and they've been at war with each other for millennia, and you're coming in for healing rather than rupture.
And when there's something that you don't like with Shawnee, it's what are you going to use it for? Or when Sarah does something that I don't like or that I get triggered about, what am I going to use it for? And it's going to be to glorify God and to get closer to God in that moment. That's how.
Yeah. Our bodies and the things that we want or crave as egos are going to further pull apart from each other because we're soul friends. We're not body friends.
So what happens when you have sex and you're not in divine union?
It's outside of the order. It is. It's
Like sexual.
Fornication.
yeah. And you're cheating on God. You're cheating on yourself. You're out of union with God. You're separated from God. Yeah.
2 minutes.
Go ahead, Bradley.
I was gonna say the thing I didn't want to share in relationship to having being a king, having a commitment, and then letting go, and then being open. Like this is where I sit in relationship to Michaela returning. And so, just meaning, wow, I feel super quiet in here. Like I'm open to that possibility, and I don't want to share that.
Thank you for being open and sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And being on this journey with us. Really beautiful.
Look at all of us.
Thank you for those of you online. I didn't hear any shares, but I felt your presence, and I thank you for being here. And hopefully I'll see you all next week. Have a beautiful week. I love you. And go.
I do have one little thing. I just want to say that I'm really grateful and I'm honored to be here with all of you guys. I just thank you so much for the raw authenticity, the vulnerability, and the courage that it took for you guys to say the things that you needed to say here in this space. And I pray that you keep continuing to do that. Keep growing that faith muscle. Be bold and tell the truth, because that's where you're coming closer and closer and closer to your heart and with union with God. I pray that this week you just continue being bold in that and being direct and sharing your heart with everyone like you did tonight. I love you. Thank you.